Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm here with Julia. We are talking about traveling abroad with assistance, caregiver, or an agency, or how to go about that whole process. Um, Hi, Julia.
Hi.
So a few questions. First question, tell a little bit about your disability and whatever you're comfortable.
I was born without legs and arms from the elbow and below. I use an electric wheelchair and have help from personal assistants with activities of daily living, like going to the bathroom, showering, getting dressed, things like that. Um, and I love traveling. I grew up traveling with my family. And my mom has always been my caregiver and family members. So, well, not always, sorry. But during those trips, my mom helped a lot. And when I was younger, and so that kind of got me interested in learning about different cultures and uh, just traveling, exploring new places. And in college, I had to get personal assistance for the first time. So that was kind of a big shift. But I knew I always wanted to study abroad. And yeah, my family hosted a foreign exchange student in high school my senior year because I wanted to study abroad or I wanted to be an exchange student, but it was kind of too hard to work out. Um, but yeah, I think immediately when I went to my college, I met with the study abroad office because I was like, yep, I want to do this. How does that work?
Oh, awesome.
And
So,
yeah, so I ended up studying abroad um, in Barcelona in 2017 during the summer. And I brought my friend and caregiver with me. And we stayed in Spain for a month and then traveled around Europe for a month after that.
cool. Um, so it was your friend that went with you. So was the assistance part newer for them that you had to teach them, or did they already know what you were needing?
Actually, I first met my friend as a personal assistant because yeah, just in college, she accepted a job. Like I had three different people that were also college students that decided to work together and um, like be an assistant for me. So she was kind of my caregiver for a long time, for several years, and we grew a close relationship and um, did fun activities too together. And I kind of uh, convinced her, I persuaded her to go to Spain with me after a lot of convincing, but yeah, it ended up being amazing for both of us, I think.
Cool. Um, did you pay her to come with you, or was it just asked?
I have Medicaid waiver, so she was paid. Actually, she was just approved as a personal caregiver at the time instead of through the company, I think. And so she was approved through that to be paid. And so that's kind of another reason why um, I brought somebody from here because they also would need to have a background check through the state, I think. And that wasn't really going to work out if I hired somebody actually in Spain. So that was one reason why it worked out pretty well. Um, and I guess not obviously, but I need somebody to help me with the actual traveling part too, like flying and everything. So um, yeah, I think that was a good situation for the type of study abroad that I did.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Um, so speaking of that, what what do you think was like the best thing that worked out with bringing an assistant? Like, was there one moment where you're like, I'm so glad this person's here, or was it just the whole trip?
Um, definitely the whole trip. I think we would have some time apart, like especially during my classes, and she wrote a blog like about every few days about what was going on. And she wrote about like one day she went to the beach and missed me. So I think just having a personal friend there was extremely useful. And for some reason, my wheelchair brakes decided to stop working um, during that trip. So it was like, and yeah, so that was useful to have somebody with me all the time. Well, yeah, for the most part. And yeah, my wheelchair could break apart. So like unintentionally, but sometimes occasionally it did that unintentionally. So um, she had to help me with that. And yeah, there was a whole day that was a disaster with like we had decided to go to botanical gardens kind of on the outside of the city. And it took us forever to get there, first of all, because we got lost and it was just far away. And I'm not very good at directions. So I guess that's another positive to having my friend. But so in I didn't charge my wheelchair that night, so we were kind of stressed out about that a little bit too. And um yeah, we were on our way back. I don't know, it was kind of a messy day, but the subway system elevator broke, so we ended up kind of getting stuck um at the bottom of the subway, like the platform area. And so people around had to carry my wheelchair up 2 flights of stairs, and I had to sit in the like security police station area. So, but yeah, a mix between relying on my caregiver, the study abroad company, and strangers, to be honest, was um, very like helpful. Um, but yeah, kind of that a lot of those moments kind of restored my faith in humanity because like it did feel like a lot of people were willing to jump in and help me. Like even getting on a bus, if my wheelchair tipped back, a whole bunch of people were around to um, try to make sure that I can get in and everything. So yeah, even though I wasn't like the most comfortable at speaking Spanish or the other languages of the places we went to at the time, so it was kind of nice.
Yeah, I've been to Spain
And
before.
just having my daily needs taken care of too, because I can't live on my own without a caregiver or somebody to help me with those things. So
Yeah.
that obviously was necessary too.
So when you said your brakes went out, do you have a power chair?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
not too familiar with power chairs, but that's interesting that your brakes went out.
Yeah. We noticed it because the school or the company got like a bus to travel with me, like and the rest of the students to on the weekend excursions. Um, And yeah, when the like lift was lifting me up on the bus, like my wheelchair would be rolling back and it's super heavy. So
Yeah.
a lot of people were having to like hold their hands up really high to like make sure it's staying on there.
Gosh. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
we didn't try to get it repaired, I don't think. Or I don't know. It just kind of kept happening.
huh. Oh, so okay. Um, what would you like people to know about bringing an assistant when you travel?
Well, it was very difficult, like, uh, to try to figure out the like how she could travel with me and get paid and um, live there legally. I think with the program that I did, it was only a month long, and then we traveled for another month. So I think we both were on the Shenzhen visa, if that's how you pronounce that. Just like the traveling for 90 days, I think,
Oh yeah,
visa
the
um, for Europe.
yep, Schengen visa.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, um, yeah, I think like if it was longer than that, it would have been more complicated. Both, I would have had to get a different type of visa for both of us. And uh, the travel insurance doesn't pay for personal assistance. It just pays for like emergencies in the hospital or something, just the regular insurance that the study abroad company gets for you. And since I was going through my like Medicaid waiver program, the I need to have quarterly visits with the League of Human Dignity, and which is like a I don't know, they kind of help organize my care and to help make sure the caregivers are certified and getting paid and doing what they're supposed to do. So yeah, I have a quarterly visit with them, and we had to make sure that that wasn't being interfered with. So I think I just had like my spring meeting with them and then was just out of the country traveling for that period of time. Um, yeah, and I think we paid for part of my caregiver's travel, like maybe her plane ticket, but she was going just kind of understanding that the experience was going to be um, worth it and like part of her payment, I guess, because it wouldn't be like a full-time job or anything like that. So, um, yeah, I think, um, yeah, there's just like a lot of things to factor in with, especially like the how they're getting paid and the logistics of everything.
Yeah. Did you say you had to check in with something called a human league?
League of Human Dignity.
Oh, what is
Yeah,
that?
I don't really know 100%. It's like a government organization that um like organizes my caregivers a little bit, like if I whether I have a company or individuals providing care for me, they think they make sure that I'm not being harmed and that my needs are taken care of and everything. So yeah, they just kind of have a regular visit. Um, and it had to be in person for some reason, like every quarter. But otherwise, like there are monthly check-ins too that can be done through phone or email. So I would just do that during that period of time.
Oh, I've never heard of them.
Yeah, my cousin actually worked for DHHS around the time that I was like thinking about studying abroad. So at first, League of Human Dignity said like, no, we can't like pay for your caregivers. We can't have your caregivers paid for. That would be um too much and uh like wouldn't work out. But my cousin looked at like all the different laws and like stipulations, regulations, whatever, and like said there's no reason why she couldn't get them paid for, especially since my permanent residence would still be Nebraska. And that was just like a temporary thing for school. So I'm glad that I had her to help advocate for me,
Huh.
help me understand the laws and everything. So
Oh, you're from Nebraska? Which part?
Central Nebraska, from a
Oh,
small town. And I went
oh,
to school at University of Nebraska, Lincoln.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm from a small town in Minnesota.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think that being from a small town kind of made me want to study abroad, and it made living in a big city like Barcelona a lot different to me. Like I loved the public transportation and just being so close to everything. There's a lot of access to all kinds of different things.
Hmm. Did your assistant speak Spanish? Did you say that? Mhm.
We both did um, probably a similar level. Her family is from Mexico, like her grandma is from Mexico.
Okay.
So she spoke Spanish with her grandma a little bit. And my major was Spanish. And then later I um, did Spanish and psychology. So yeah, we were both like um, Spanish learners.
Yeah.
Not perfect at it, but not too bad.
Um, did you and your assistant have any major conflict when you were traveling? Like
Uh, with what?
with each other?
Not too much. I'm really glad that we were um, good friends and familiar with each other. I would say she adapted very quickly to like my life is very complicated, so I have to be go with the flow. A lot of the times, like there are just things that aren't going to work out, like the day that I talked about with the subway, elevators not working, the wheelchair brakes not working, and yeah, I don't know. I think just we had a thing with the train. Like we were going to take a train from Barcelona to Paris, and there was conflict because they were saying in Spain, like, oh yeah, we can get a ramp for you to get on the train, but we can't communicate with the Paris train station and make sure there's a ramp for you to get off. So I think just like logistical problems were our biggest hurdle, and just getting frustrated at different times about like sometimes I was like, "Ooh, this is so fun that everything's going wrong and we're just having to figure it out." And sometimes she thought I wasn't like taking the situation seriously enough, um, which is fair. But yeah, I think for the most part we got along very well.
Awesome. Um, I think you've answered pretty much everything I'm curious about.
Okay.
You had a pretty different experience than anything I've heard so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of these programs I've never heard of, so that's cool. Um,
Yeah.
I know you were saying you were thinking at some point of teaching abroad. Did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, sure. Last year I got accepted to teach in Spain through just kind of a program where you can get a TEFL certificate and like teach elementary school or I think it's all kinds of students, but teach students English, just kind of being an assistant for their classroom that's a native English speaker. Um, and that was also very complicated to figure out. I don't have fingers or toes, so it was hard for me to get a background check with because all
Oh,
of the background checks use fingerprints.
yeah. Huh.
So yeah, that I had to um get rejected from the FBI 3 times, like sending in a fingerprint card that um said I don't have fingerprints, and then they had to send me a formal rejection letter saying that I don't have fingerprints and can't do like the federal background check. Um, and so I did a state background check, and that was not even guaranteed to work with getting a visa, but it was kind of the best we could do is to have a rejection from the FBI and then a state background check. So that took a couple months to figure that out. And then I was kind of placed with a school, but then they decided that I would need to have a caregiver, personal assistant with me the entire time at the school for safety of children, or so they didn't have to have any of their teachers helping me, even though I said like I would only need somebody like during the lunch hour to go to the bathroom or something. And they can just kind of be in and out, help me go to the bathroom, and then I'm good for the rest of the time. So that didn't work out, unfortunately. And we are going to have to pay for the caregivers out of pocket too, because you couldn't be on the Spanish system, and they have a long process for applying for their personal assistance. And priority kind of goes to their citizens, um, probably. Since I would be like doing only living there temporarily, they weren't interested in like, or I would be kind of far on the wait list, I think,
Yeah.
for them to approve me. But yeah, I think so. We were gonna have to pay for it out of pocket, so I would be losing money by having to pay for caregivers the entire time I was teaching and a little bit more during the rest of the day. So
Oh, that's a
that
bummer.
didn't work very well.
Yeah. I wonder.
Yeah, and oh, what were you gonna say?
Oh, the fingerprinting thing. I'm gonna look into it more because understand it a little better because that's not right to do.
Yeah, it was really complicated, and the company uh, had to email them, and I emailed them, and we both, like the FBI, and we both got different answers. So I think I kind of responded to them. I was like, the company that I'm going with had a better answer than this. So um, next time somebody asks you that, can you give them the better answer? Like the more helpful steps for getting like the rejection letter. But
Yeah,
yeah, that was complicated.
definitely sounds like it. Oh my gosh. Huh.
Yeah, the school I was going to go to was a school for kids with disabilities too. So I was really excited and thought that it would be a good example to have like an adult living their life, working at their school, helping them, but
Yeah.
living abroad, I thought that would be a cool example.
So what country or what city was it?
It was in Madrid,
Oh,
Spain.
wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of contacting different like embassies and national health systems and stuff, trying to get information about personal assistance in different countries. Like if I live there and do a program for a year, could I get on your program? If I wanted to do just a semester, can I? And it's very complicated and different for every country. So I feel like it's kind of my dream that there would be some sort of like information hub or like, I mean, I know MIUSA is very good at that too. Um, but yeah, I just think there needs to be some sort of database with all the laws, but I know they're always changing too, so I don't know.
Oh, totally. Oh, hmm.
But yeah, I think yeah, I just feel like there needs to be more communication and clear rules about that. Um, like yeah, I feel like even moving states is complicated in the United States. Like I moved from Nebraska to Kansas for a semester for college, and they were kind of not sure and quibbling about um, which states Medicare or Medicaid would pay for me, pay for my caregivers. So I don't know. I think it's just complicated.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Wow. I'm gonna research that because I never thought of that before. Well, I do think that
Yeah.
you've answered all my questions. Is there anything else you want to share specifically?
Um, I don't know. I guess I would encourage people to study abroad if you want to, or work abroad, anything like that. Um, because it was a very amazing experience and definitely worth the challenge. And everyone's going to have different needs. So um, there is going to be like a lot of planning um, ahead of time. Uh, like, yeah, I think that we had to make sure that my living arrangements were accessible. And luckily, the company was very helpful with that. So I guess if you go with a company, a study abroad company, make sure that they are aware of your disability if you want them to help with things like that. And um, yeah, make sure that they are aware and willing to help you with the um, coordinating everything and accommodations.
Cool. Yeah, definitely gonna hopefully find a great company to help out.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think, yeah, you've answered all of my questions. This has been really interesting. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of unique.
yeah. But I think we can wrap it. But thank you for,
Okay. Yeah.
and if I have any follow-up, I will send you an email.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, well, thank you.
Good to
Um,
talk to you.
have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.